Welcome, Bronco Nation, to another exciting video. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about somewhat of a new venture. This should be a somewhat familiar face to you all, but in a slightly new context here. And we're excited to talk about that. And then we're also going to be talking about this incredible Boise State recruiting class for 2025 and some of the excitement that we have for this upcoming season when it comes to these new recruits joining the program. And to talk about all of that with me, I have Chris Van Sickle. He is joining me here from Bronco Nation Updates. He has recently transitioned over to them. He did some outstanding work with Bronco Country before that, and now he's over in Bronco Nation Updates continuing that high level of excellence. He's a football recruiting expert. He does a great job of recruiting these incoming guys. His videos are fantastic. You guys have to check him out. Make sure you check out the Bronco Nation Updates channel. I'll put a link to that in the description. Then also make sure you check out his Twitter. I'll put a link to that also in the description. Again, he does a great job of interviewing these incoming recruits and really helping us as the fan base get to know them and what we may be able to expect. Chris, it's awesome to have you on here today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I feel very blessed to be here on a show that I've watched for a long time. So here I am. I'm living the dream.
Well, that dream, it's a really fun one for you to be living out here, and you can really see that joy and that you are getting to experience this. It really comes across in those videos. I've been able to meet you in person when I came up for the Washington State game, and I could really see that you were really living out the experience there, a childhood passion. Can you talk a little bit about how you got into this crazy thing that you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. I am really just every day, every time I talk to a Boise State player or a recruit, I am living out my dream. I assume that someone's going to tell me that why have I been doing this? Because you're not allowed to do it anymore, but they keep letting me. So, yeah, no. So like you said, I started out with Bronco Country, the message board, Blue Turf Board, Bronco Corral, something I was a part of since I was probably about 15, 16 years old. Grew up here, grew up a Boise State fan, loved Boise State, loved blue turf. That's what really got me hooked was seeing that blue turf on the field. I think a lot of fans are like that. Boise State fans are like that. Um, but yeah, was part of the Bronco Country group. And then about, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, Kevin, shout out to Kevin. Kevin was a great guy, is a great guy. He helped me along, gave me my opportunity. He put out a call just for an open writers call, see who wants to write. And you know, you can ask my English teachers back in high school. I wasn't anything special. My my mom may have written a high school report or two for me. So but I gave it a shot, and he liked it. So he gave me the opportunity to cover Bronco men's basketball, both with previews and recaps for about 2 seasons. Um, and then opportunity started. They wanted to do a podcast, Bronco Country Roundup. I love those guys still. Miss those guys. Wish them nothing but the best. Um, and not long after that came the opportunity to be credentialed by Boise State and to be in the room, be in the the Blameyer complex. Hey, I've heard that name before. Um, it's just it's just one after another, pinching myself. Can't believe this is the opportunity I get. All just started because I gave it a shot. So here I am, living out my dream. Talking to recruits. Recruiting has always been a passion of mine. I've always found it just fascinating. It's such an underworld in some ways. Like it's almost kind of like there's almost like a recruiting black market. I swear, it's crazy. And as this NIL stuff goes on, it's only getting wilder. But that is my story. I hope that people hear that and see that the kid who had a C- in English class and had his biggest fear was is still public speaking, if we're being real honest. Um, you can do it. Just have fun. But that's my story.
What's an awesome story, and obviously you guys are doing great stuff over there at Bronco Nation Updates now. Can you talk a little bit about what kind of content, a little plug for the channel for the show here, what kind of content fans can expect from you and the other presenters over there at Bronco Nation Updates?
Yeah, yeah. So Nick Wade, the founder of Blue Elevation in that group, great guy. Love him. He's his heart is in the right place. That's the number one thing I would tell people. He wants to better Boise State. He wants to help these student athletes. So if you're ever questioning Blue Elevation or that whole group, just know that their heart is in the right place. I just went to breakfast with them this morning with a Boise State Hall of Famer who was there. But players, I mean, they are just Boise State fans that want to help out the university. But getting back to my what we're going to be building here, I've started the Blue Turf Talk with Chris V show, and we're like you promoted. I do a lot of recruiting interviews. I love getting the stories of these 17, 18-year-old kids that are going to be future stars on the Blue, and getting Bronco Nation an opportunity to meet them early on. I love getting to know the players. I think some of their stories are fascinating, and I just want to share that with everybody else. So there's going to be a lot of that, a lot of covering recruits, but there's also going to be a podcast. Uh, I've been working with Nick and Sam with Sam Talk Sports. Sam's a great guy. Shout out to him as well. And we're looking to add more content creators as well. So kind of like me, I might be hitting your DMs if you're a Boise State Twitter fan. Don't be afraid. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it. I just want personalities. Personalities are what make people watch. So be looking out for that. Doing a podcast. Gonna do some live stuff as well. And as long as we can check all the boxes that Boise State has put on for credentials, I'm gonna be credentialed again. Gonna be on the sidelines and hopefully getting some sideline content. Last season with Genty and I had a blast with you during the Washington State game. Um, was that not insane to be right there next to it?
I mean, of all the games I
Ah,
could have picked to come up for, man, oh my
dude,
goodness. I mean,
you
he
nailed
he
it.
went absolutely off in that
When,
game. It was a magical moment, and I don't use that term lightly. I mean, that was
no,
really one of the most incredible experiences of my entire life.
when he struck the Heisman pose no more
Oh.
than 5 feet from us, I totally fangirled. I squealed. I'm sure. I don't have record of that, but I'm sure I did.
It was hard to
Insane.
hear it over the crowd chanting Heisman, Heisman, but I'm sure it did come out.
Thank God, because I would have never I'd never lived that one down. But insane, so much fun. So be on the lookout. Yeah, Blue Turf Talk with Chris V, but Blue Elevation as well, and we're adding some other creators. You're going to be hearing soon. Actually, I just had a young man, a young man. He's a man. I feel old. I think he's younger than me. I don't know really, but he's going to be kind of a writer for us, and we're going to give everyone a shot. So just be on the lookout for that. But I'm really excited about this opportunity. I loved Bronco Country. Again, I cannot thank them enough for what they did for me. Um, but I am excited about this new opportunity, and I hope that you all will subscribe and enjoy my content.
Well, taking a little bit of a look at that content, let's look at this 2025 class because, again, you've been able to have that personal opportunity to talk to so many members, almost the entire class. I'm sure it's not every single person, but most of them. You've had that great opportunity to actually get to know them. And I'm sure you are excited for every single member of this class, as I am I. But who stands out to you? Who has you the most excited in this 2025 class right now?
The one that really sticks out to me, and I did get to speak to this young man. He is just an outstanding young man. And it also helps that it's a position he plays a position that is on the radar for a lot of fans right now. Taj Crutchfield, a cornerback out of Rancho Cucamonga High School, an outstanding young man. Had offers from ACC schools, from BYU, loved Boise State, connected with the coaches, has a great family. I've even gotten to know his sister, his father. These are great people. But it's not just great people. He's a great player. You look at his frame, he's listed at 5'11". I think he's going to grow long arms. He's going to come in. He is not in for spring camp, which that's a huge deal if you can get in for spring camp. So going to come in the fall. But really do think he could make an immediate impact. He's a lockdown corner, and I think Bronco Nation knows we could use one of those.
Well, like moving on into this class, who do you think can come in and contribute right away? You talked about him being an exciting player, but obviously he's going to be missing that spring camp, and that does kind of contribute to some of that starting or play time experience, at least right off the bat. Who has you excited as somebody who could come in and contribute day one, either at a starting level or at a heavy contribution level?
Yeah, and this is part of the same group, and I think a lot of fans are share my my curiosity with the defensive back room, it's going to be Jalen Webb, a safety transfer comes in as a junior from a junior college, Kilgore Junior College in Texas. List him at 6'2", 195 pounds. You look at his tape, and what struck me is, my brain works. I like to make comparisons for players, especially old Broncos. And I look at his tape and I see another Darian Thompson. Um,
Wow.
kind of he's not going to hit you like JL Skinner. I hope he proves me wrong on that. I will eat that crow all day long. He is going to be a great center field type safety. It's gonna keep the top on the off on the defense, but is going to come down and help in run coverage as well. Um, like you said, the fact I don't know if fans truly understand how important that being there for spring camp is. Um, I just did an interview with Zion Washington where he kind of explained it, but spring camp is where they build the groundwork, the foundation. That's where you learn how to even be a Boise State defender or offensive player for that matter. So he's here. He's going to be wearing number 25. I expect that Jalen Webb will start. I see that type of talent there. So look for him. Excited that I loved Oladipo, I loved Rodney Robinson, I love Tubner, but I'm excited to see some. I'm excited to see 6'2" as the height back there. I'm excited to see that. So
Well, and
look
I
on
know
the be
that
on the lookout for that.
And I know going back into last season, I think that there was a lot of effort out there in the corner room and the
Yeah.
secondary as a whole, but there obviously were some learning points and some holes that need to be fixed as well. So it's been exciting to see some of those opportunities from these younger guys coming in and what they can also contribute in a class that's got to replace a lot of guys offensively and not so many as in the defense, but some areas in defense as well if they want to make a push similar to this last year. Well, moving on to talking about some guys that maybe aren't popping off the page right at least at the top level, but also have a lot of hidden talent. And maybe that's why Boise State got to get them in the first place. Who do you think is maybe that diamond in the rough or the most underrated player in this class that you think is going to surprise a lot of people?
The guy that stuck out to me was a young man named Jacob Tracy. He's coming in as an offensive lineman. He's got classic left tackle frame. He's coming at 6'6", 255, y'all.
Wow.
255. He's gonna have to hit that weight room. Don't get me wrong. He's not playing this season. He he Cage Casey does not have to look over his shoulder for starting. Okay, don't get me wrong, but he has that Cage Casey type build. A lot. It used to be when you saw an offensive lineman come in at 315, like, oh, he's ready to go. Anymore, you kind of want them leaner and to build up that mass. You want them to build that healthy mass while they have the weight room, while they have the nutrition program, while all this stuff is kind of controlled, honestly. So he's going to come in 255. The story behind him is his first 3 seasons at Yelm High School in Washington, he played tight end. Boise State had an eye and said, we think that he could be an offensive tackle. His senior season was the first time he played offensive line full time.
Wow.
And for those that played, that he might as well be an offensive lineman infant, really. I mean, and played at a high level. If you watch his tape, he played great, has great technique, has a great base. He's just going to have to get in here, get in the weight room, get in the nutrition program, and learn. I would have him just stick to Cage Casey's hip, learn all you can. But I really see a very bright future for Jacob Tracy. I have spoke to him as well. Great kid, great family. Yeah, Jacob Tracy. Let's get him an NIL deal with McDonald's or whatever he likes. Just burgers, burgers, burgers. Get that weight up, buddy, and we'll see him on the field in a couple of years, I'm guessing.
That's an exciting one because even though tight end does share some responsibilities in the blocking scheme with the offensive line, it is a completely different position when you actually have to move down into the trenches full time there. And so, and I know I didn't play it as a starter, but they did rotate me there in practice a few times because we were having so many injuries on our offensive line when I was in high school. I just said, this is not the position for me. I'm not built for offensive line work, but I definitely see it as a position that it takes not just the weight mass, but also takes that experience because it's not an individual position, it's a group, it's a unit one, and you have to know your trade so well that you know what the person next to you is also going to do and working as a shared single organism. And so that takes a little
Yeah.
while to build up to. So I'm excited about his future as well. I think that that's a player that is going to very athletic, moving tight end to offensive
Hmm.
line. So definitely a lot of potential there in the run game. Boise State's definitely quick run game that they've been developing with Ashton Genty and a lot of traditional moving pieces like we've seen in the past. So another exciting player in that class. And one last question regarding this class here. Are there any positions that you would like to see Boise State supplement or hit in the transfer portal over the summer? Any areas that you think Boise State still needs to build, grow depth, bring in maybe some potential starters? Anybody that any, not buddy, but any place in this Boise State offense, defense, or special teams that you think would benefit from a few more transfer recruits after the spring ball?
Yes, and that would be the wide receiver room for me. Um, they were in on Sam Mbaki. He junior college, the number one junior college wide receiver in the nation. He's an Arkansas bounce back. Has gone completely silent. I followed that story as close as I can, and I can't figure out what's going on there. So he has not signed. Maybe he just signed right now on Twitter. I hope he did, but um, I do know that the coaches are still out and looking at wide receivers. It's gonna come from the junior college route. They added Cam Jones, who you did a great interview with him, by the way. Love that. You beat me to him. Gosh, man. But Cam Jones another kid that is going to do great. A four-star guy. You go check out Jacob's interview with him. But yeah, wide receiver is going to be that position. I'm looking at the roster that Boise State sent out for spring camp, and I'm concerned about the explosive capabilities of that group. We don't have the top end go over the top speed, in my opinion, at this point. And that's something that you can live without. Don't get me wrong. I kind of think we did last season. But it would be nice to have that burner, that Cedric Wilson type player. So I think they are out looking for a wide receiver, and I would not be shocked at all if you see someone sign before fall camp.
He's a little bit shorter from what you would look for that kind of deep Geraldo Boldevine type deep player,
Hmm.
speed over the top guy. But Quentin Brown does have a little bit of that up potential in him, a little bit more in the Shane Williams road sizing, though. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see how that works out. But I think that you're right. I think that that's always a position. Wide receiver is a room that you can never get enough of, especially in a Boise State offense that it looks like they're going to be leaning a little bit more into that passing game than they did
Hmm.
last year. I know Cameron, when he came on, he said that hit indications he was getting that the passing was going to be a major role in this offense. So,
Yeah.
but how about the quarterback room? How are you feeling about that? I know a lot of fans continue to be concerned. I'm not so concerned about the starter there. However, I do
Right.
think that the depth may be a legitimate concern. Do you think Boise State
Mhm.
tries to build that up over the summer transfer portal window?
I don't. I don't think that they are going to add. I don't think fans truly understand. Um, Boise State probably wanted to add one of these transfers from Louisville, or one of these Power Four people. They didn't want to come here. Maddox Matson has beat out Taylon Green and a five-star quarterback. He's a gamer, y'all. So, no, I don't ever think that adding, another former starter at a power forward level or any of that was really on the table. I know they talked to some guys and that's never worked out. Maddox Matson's your starter. Whether you like that or not, you're gonna have to make peace with it. I love Maddox Matson. I know how you feel about him as well. He is a baller. He's a gamer. He's going to be great. He's going to have more experience in this offense that with Nate Potter is going to keep that continuity from Dirk Cutter, and he's going to grow. Maybe not physically like some people would like, but let's not hate on the shorter quarterbacks. We've had a history of those a little bit. Um, Behind him, Max Cutforth. I've watched him in practice, so take this with a grain of salt. I am not a scout. I just am a guy who loves football. He can spin it. Okay. Local Nampa Skyview player. A lot of guys, a lot of people will see that walk on tag and just kind of write them off. Don't do that. this kid can play. So I expect Max Cutforth to be the backup, but don't be surprised if you see number 16 Caleb Annett as well. He came in, he's on scholarship. Great player, can spin it. Watched him on the scout team last season, and he looked like a freshman. Shocker. But he's going to grow. He's going to get better. But no, to answer your question, no, I don't think we're going to see anybody added. They did add Zeke Martinez, a local kid from Meridian. And I think that he's going to be a walk-on, but people need to remember he turned down an offer from University of Memphis to be a walk-on at Boise State. So don't just see walk-on and automatically write them off, because I know some people do and a lot of people don't. I'm not saying everybody does. But Zeke Martinez has a very bright future, as well as Jack Benson. I could keep going. I can talk about him all. Jack Benson is a guy I followed from before Boise State was really showing him any interest. And I followed him. I was hoping, and he ended up here. Shout out to Jack. He's a great kid. I talked to him quite a bit. But these kids are going to grow and they're going to get better. And Maddox Matson's going to be a stud. There's my story there.
Well, this is going to be an exciting season. I think that there are some opportunities that Boise State will look to add, and that's going to continue to build great content for your channel and for these other channels that cover as well. It's going to be a great offseason for Boise State fans. Make sure you stick around. Make sure you follow Bronco Nation Updates on their YouTube channel so you can watch all of Chris's great stuff. Make sure you also follow his Twitter account as well so you can keep informed. Does a great job of finding those players that have said that they are getting offers or that they're visiting and retweeting those and adding some context as well. So those are that's a fantastic source for fans as well. Anything else that's coming up that fans can be excited about to kind of plug the channel and reach out over to you?
Yeah, Monday is the first day of spring practice. I'm going to be there on the blue watching them. You're going to see some content come out from me, and we're going to do a podcast, hopefully Monday night, and share some of that content. I'll give you some of my views. I can't talk about a depth chart or anything like that, but I'll hint. Let's put it that way. I'll give you some ideas. And then, as always, just be looking out for the player interviews, coach interviews coming up as well. And then I'm always looking for those recruits. So if you're a recruit and you're hearing from Boise State, please hit me up. I would love to talk to you.
Absolutely. Make sure you go check out Twitter and the YouTube. Both of those links are going to be in the description of this video. Chris, it's been awesome having you on, man. Great content. Loving to seeing your growth as well and the continued work with Bronco Nation Updates. Wishing you nothing but the best and excited for this season, this offseason. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks everybody for watching all the way to the end. Please put down the notes in the comment section below just who you're excited for in this class. What areas you would like to see Boise State maybe go after in the transfer portal coming up to this next season. Just anything else you're excited about for this upcoming year. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe to all the channels and link information posted before. And of course, the channel you're watching right now. Make sure you like, subscribe. And as always, go Big Blue!
Broncos.